Yeah, my name is Vijay Hemantha. I'm based in USA, so in New Jersey. So I run a company named TrueWays. So we are primarily into business intelligence and analytics side. And on personal front, like I have over 20 years of experience in BI and analytics space. So that's what I specialize on. Yeah, that's a quick background. I'm very passionate about Power BI, and our team is in building few tools in top of Power BI to make the Power BI development experience even better. So today I'm here to present the Powerops, which is the workflow productivity tool for Power BI. So let's see what we have in store. Uh,
Sounds
Let me
good.
go ahead and share my screen so we can get started.
Yeah, now we can see.
Awesome. So this is Powerops, and just to give a quick background about the company, we are a Microsoft partner, and we provide the solutions in data and analytics space. And currently, we provide two tools. One is the PowerBase. Some of you might be using our custom visuals, like some of the famous ones are like Date Picker. So that also produced by our company, which is the PowerBase umbrella. And the new tool that I'm going to showcase today, which is the PowerOps, which is the DevOps platform for Power BI. And so we are a partner in Microsoft. We also have like over 500 customers that's been actually using it. And we are also certified by SOC from the data security standpoint as well. That's the quick brief. So let's move on to what is PowerOps, right? So uh, PowerOps is a single platform which can seamlessly analyze and compare, optimize, version control, and deploy Power BI reports. Think of it like an end-to-end workflow tool for your Power BI report development. So we currently offer two versions of Power, like two product types of PowerUps. One is a desktop tool, another is SaaS version. So the desktop tool is free. It has a free tier, so you can use it for free forever. It is unlimited for first 2 months, and then it is 2 file limit per month. But you can still use it for free for life. And on other hand, there is a SaaS version, and which is more a cloud-based. It's a web-based product. And to see the differences between the both of them, so I'll just go over like first the PowerOps Desktop. PowerOps Desktop is the lightweight desktop tool which offers like these features: analyzing, comparing, and best practices. So it can analyze and give you all the documented features of your Power BI reports. It can also show the dependencies that you have between the model dependencies or report dependencies also. At the same time, you can even compare between the two different reports or models in Power BI. It's very difficult to know what's been changed if given a two different report files or models, but PowerOps gives you a complete picture of what's being changed. On the other hand, like it also does best practice evaluation also. It runs again as a Microsoft standard best practices and tells you like which rules has been passed, which rules has been failed. So that's what the desktop offers. Whereas the SaaS version, I'll go over that at the end, but it offers a lot more than this, where with version control and other things. First, let's see what desktop offers, and I'll show you a quick demo of the same. So let me remove what I have already here. So this is the PowerOps desktop. It once you install PowerOps, so it's gonna show up in the external tools. If you go to external tools, you're gonna see the PowerOps uh, badge over there. So we click on it, it's gonna open up, and when then you're gonna see the recent files and open a file. So recent files is gonna show up all the files that has been already been loaded in your Power BI. For example, or you can open a completely new file which is not recent also using this. There are many supported formats here. Under report, you have PBIX, PBIP, or PBIT. Under model, you even have like bin file, TIMDL, and dataset as well. So you pretty much support all the sort of formats. For the demonstration, let's go with like one PBX file. I'm just choosing the recent file that I had it here. Just click on and click on add. So that's get added to the PowerUps. So as you see on the top, there are 4 different sections that PowerUp supports today. So first one is the analyze. and which we're going to discuss now. So analyze is more like it is analyzer for your Power BI report. It gives you a full details of your Power BI report and model. It also comes with some interesting facts like dependencies as well. Let's go through that. So first is like as soon as I added my Power BI report, it's gonna tell me like the summary of what I have in the report, like pages, visuals, types, visual filters, custom visuals, bookmarks, and many other things. Like how many pages, how many visuals I have in pages and other things. And also talks about model, like how many like tables I have, how many columns I have, measures, and everything else. Right. And when I switch to report section, so you're gonna see all the report level breakdown. So of what are the different pages and pages properties also, what are the order of the pages as well, and which one is a landing page too, and the rest of all other properties, right? Including general, filter, pane, and filter cards. And this is just not the skeleton files that we're showing. We actually show with actual colors that's being used also. There are color indicators, as you can see, what are the colors that's being used. And pretty much all the details in a more developer friendly format that we've been shown. You also have like this on the top right, you have the visual view. If you click on this, that's going to show the wireframe representation of your Power BI report. You can see like what are the different pages you have, and if you click on it, you can see what are the visual that is being used. And you can even mouse over and see what are the fields that is being used also. What are the columns, hierarchies, and measures, and such sort of stuff too. Right, so let's go back to the table view, and we have the next section is visuals. Under visuals, you're gonna see for each page how many visuals are out there. Like so for example, this area chart has one column that's being used, one hierarchy is being used, one measure is being used. There is a legend here to refer what is what. And so it shows up the visual to the field mapping. It also shows up all the properties of each chart as well. You can see what's the different properties that has been set. And you can also know the visual interactions. If you have any like cross filter, cross highlight, or no interactions, it shows up all of those details. It even shows the general details like the height, width, and other rest of the properties as well. Right. So let's see. It also shows up the custom visuals in this particular adventure sales file. I don't have any custom visual. Let me add another file so we can see. Let me add a PBIP. Let's go to. I'm just adding a one bigger file. So
You can also just simply drag and drop or a selection of the file. So just from the browser.
Yeah, just browse and select the file that you would like to upload, and that scans it. It adds it and scans it.
Okay.
Now that I uploaded the larger file now. So this one has a lot more. As you can see, this has 28 pages and other things. So it has a lot of files here, a lot of pages. And it also shows up whether it's hidden page or not hidden page and also. And what type of page is also, whether it's standard page or a tooltip page also, it's going to show up. Let's go to the custom visuals, and it shows up all the custom visual that's being used. If it is any unused custom visuals also, it's going to show up here if it's not being used. And we also have filter section. Filter section is like it shows up the visual level filters, page filters, and report filters, and drill through filters, all the 4 types. For example, in this particular report, I'm using this visual filters, and in this page, and this is the visual, and these are the filter fields that's being used. And this is the filter definition of it. Right. Similarly, we have the page filter as well. So you can see the page level field, page filter details, like what are the filter definitions also at the page level. If you have any report level, it's going to show up in this report. I don't have any report level filter, so it's saying it's not found. And we also have drill through filters also. It's going to show up all the drill through filter details. Right. And everything you see in Powerops is easily filterable. Like you can search for a specific item, or you can even Excel or CSV, you can export it. And you also have an option to select the columns that you want to see and all the story. So now let's talk about the bookmarks. So everybody in Power BI agrees that the bookmark is like a black box. So even if you make some changes to bookmarks, you cannot clearly see what is that bookmark is performing. So, but in Powerops, you can clearly see what's the actions that are part of bookmark. You can click on this explore more icon, and those shows on the right side. It opens up the pane, and it shows up like all the actions that are being performed by that bookmark. For example, this particular bookmark is closing the filter pane, and it is applying these filters in the property like report level filters and page level filters. And it is also showing all the other visuals that's being shown and what is the order by what objects is being shown. Pretty much like it shows up all of those details. Right, so you can explore other bookmarks also the similar way. So you can see what's being done, what are the actions part of that bookmark. So you can also see like which page that bookmark is on and which visuals it's affecting and all those things as well. Okay, all right. We have we have actions also here. So actions will talk through about like what are the different buttons we are using it and which pages and what they're doing. So here in this intro page, there is a button which is calling the bookmark, and the bookmark name is the intro T3. And the tooltip says the questions and experience. So this is more or less like it shows up all the actions that we have it in this particular report. And we have also sync slicers. So sync slicers, it shows up same like Power BI format where what pages you have sync slicers, what are the slicer fields, and what are being changes, and all of those things as well. Similarly, we have navigators as well, the page navigators and bookmark navigators. You can see the page navigators, what's being like, what page navigators we have, how many pages it is showing up. And we also have bookmark navigators as well. If you're having any bookmark navigators that we have it in report, shows up those information too. So this covers all the report side of the properties that we have seen. Similarly, we have model level of properties also. So you can see all the tables that you have it in your report model, and what are the storage mode, and whether it's a feature table or not, how many columns, measures, and all of those things you can see. Similarly, you also have a model view on the top right. When you click on this one, it's going to show up like a same Power BI looking like model view of your report, and you can even see the relationships that's being there, whether it's hidden or not hidden, and what mode of the table and all of those things as well. Right, if you are using direct query to even shows the blue accent bar, it shows the same places where you have placed it in Power BI. So it restores the layout positions as well. So it's easy to review that way. And coming back to the table view, so we also have columns. So you can see each table has what are the columns and different properties of the columns, including the format and all of those things. So same goes with hierarchies too. So if you're using any hierarchies in the thing, you can see what is the ordinal of the hierarchy, level of the hierarchy, and what are the columns as well. Right, so it shows up all of those. Similarly, it also shows up the parameters, the field parameters and numeric range parameters. If you're using any field parameters in the report, so you can see that what are the field parameters that's being used, right? And whether the slicer has been added to the page or not, also you can find it out right from here. Similarly, for data groups, you can see the list and bin. So if you're using any of these, Powerops is going to show up those details as well. Data sources, so it will show up all the data sources. That's where is the data is coming from, whether it's Excel or anywhere it's coming from. And we also have relationships, so it shows up the table relationships, like from one table to another. What are the different tables you have? What are the relationships that you have? So whether it is a one-to-one relationship or many-to-one relationship, whether it is an active relationship or inactive relationship. So it shows up all those details as well right here. And it also shows up refresh policies and perspectives as well. What are the different perspectives that we have? So this is all about the model. And we also have DAX section. So if you're in this DAX section right now, everything that has a DAX query or expression, so we categorize them under DAX. So you can see the measures, what are the different measures that's being used. Let's say 58 measures are being used here. So you can search for a measure. You can even copy the expressions right from here, and you can even see you can even export it as the way you need it, and in Excel or CSV. You can also see the calculated columns if you're using any calculated columns here. And similarly, it goes with the calculate tables if you are using it any, and calculation groups as well, and KPIs and any visual calculations also. The recently introduced feature from Microsoft, if you're using any visual calculations, those are also going to be listed here. So this section is going to show everything about DAX. So far we have seen the report, model, and DAX. So it covers all the sort of things that you needed for understanding the report and model, and also analyzing and documenting it. Now let's get to something more interesting. So next one is dependencies. So the dependencies will show up like the patterns in your PowerBI report and model. For example, the model dependencies will tell you like how your measures are nested. Means like you're using one measure into another measure. So how is this measures are linked with each other? So like a lineage, it will give you the whole view of the lineage between the measures. So you can even click on certain measure, and you can even right click and say filter. And that shows up like the lineage of this particular measure, how it is impacting other measures. Like for example, this measure is built, you can see the expression on mouse over that shows up there. This particular measure is built on top of this measure, and this measure is using these columns. The blue ones are columns and the orange ones are measures. And this particular measure is also serving other measures as well. So these are all the measures. Now, if you change this measure, for example, what are the things in the model gonna be impacted? What are the other measures is gonna be impacted? So it's very useful to see that way to understand the impact and do an impact assessment. So you can start from here, or you can even directly search from the top as well. Let's say if I'm searching for the net sales per month, I can click on this and it gives the same experience. All right. And we also have a table view for the same. If somebody is more comfortable to understand the same thing with table view, they can even search right from here and get the same experience. Similarly, we have report dependencies as well. So report dependencies is like you get like now in earlier page, we have seen model dependencies, which is a model objects. But when it comes to report, it's even one step above. So it even includes the report elements also, like visuals and pages also into the scope. So you can see what's being changed and where it's being used, right? So let's say if I wanted to see how is this being used, the net sales, I can just right click and say filter. And you can see the net sales is being used in these two measures, which is the orange ones are measures. And in these visuals and in this page. So now when you change this measure, what are the model objects going to be impacted and what are the visual objects going to be impacted in which pages as well. So this is very powerful that way to understand the impact when you're making a change to a certain measure or a column even, so you can understand like what are the other linked items that's going to be impacted. If you can even uncheck, like let's say you don't want to see the columns in this, just uncheck the columns is going to go off and then you're going to see that. So that's report dependencies. It's going to cover up all the dependencies that you have it in the particular report. All right, let's go to the Power Query dependencies. So the Power Query dependencies is like same as what you see it in Power BI, where you can see from what source and what are the different tables that is getting coming to. So this shows in the high level flow. So let's go to the M queries. When you go to M queries, you're gonna see all the M queries that's being used in your report model. So for example, I have 17 in M queries, like which are enabled, and 2 disabled M queries. So you can even expand M query and you can see the actual M query. You can even copy and you can do a formatted copy as well, or you can even download the M query as well right from here. So the similar way you can choose any M query and see the M query, what is the query that's being used. You can even search for a particular string. For example, I want to search for a word called sales, and you can see there is a matching queries of 4 are found. You can even do a case match as well right from here. And you can download it all, whatever the matching M queries as well. So it's pretty good that way to understand all the queries and being used. If you have something that disable them queries, that is also listed here. We also have roles. It shows up like all the roles that's being used, RLS and OLS. So you can see all this information. So with tables with OLS configured and what is not configured, also you're gonna see it. Similarly, we have info section. So info section will show like a bite-sized insights about your report. For example, this particular report is that what version you are using it and what is the theme that you are using it and what model, what connection mode, and what is the data source version. And also talks about the other important key things like whether you're using any auto time intelligence in your report or not. So some of those are not a good practices like using auto time intelligence. That's why we mark that in the red color. So if you're using any implicit measures, then it shows up in the red color as well. If you're using any uncertified custom visuals, also it shows up in the red color too. It's pretty much like it shows all those details like by analyzing it. So this section, analyze section, whatever we have seen, so it's quite helpful that way to understand all the report model and even the dependencies, model dependencies, report dependencies, queries, roles, and info sections. It covers like pretty much what you need to know about your complete report and model. So this is the first section that covers most of it. Right.
And
Any
that's
questions?
yeah, thanks, Vijay. That's quite impressive, I have to say. It's my first touch point with the tool, and it's very impressive. And comparing to other tools, I have to say it's quite ahead and very useful. Just a question. That's the desktop version that you are using for the demo right now. The solution, right? It's
Yeah,
for
this is the
the
desktop
last
version.
one. It's the one that's available for free for certain level of files or folders. You said what's the limitation exactly?
So it is free. It is completely free, but the first 2 months it's unlimited number of files you can add it. You can add any number of files. But after 2 months, you will be limited to 2 files per month.
Okay.
Okay, but you can still use it for free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If you need to have more than 2 files per month, that's when you need to purchase the license. But if you have a need of just 2 files per month, you can continue to use the tool for free.
Yeah.
There is no other limitations.
Great. That's quite open-hearted from your side, I think, and generous. Can you also interact with edit here something that will be reflected in your actual report, or it's
Yeah,
just
so
for high level?
we have some plans to do that. Right now, it is all read only. So you can see what is there in your report. By editing back to report, we have some plans to do it. Maybe in the next phases, we will try to do that.
Okay. Great. Okay.
All right.
Nice. Thank you.
Cool. Let's move on to the next section. So next section is find usage. So this section is helpful to finding the particular column or a measure usage in your report. For example, when you can see on the left side, it shows up all the model explorer. You can see all the tables, you can expand it and you can see all the things. But for example, when I expand this tables, I can see this amount is 14. What does it mean is this particular amount 14 times it's used in your report. Okay, there are 14 usage findings it found. And how is that 14 is segregated? Like it is used 11 times in the report and 3 times in the DAX side. Out of 11 times in the report, there are 5 times it's used in visuals. So you can see which page, which visual, what are the chart type and where it's being used, that amount. It's used in the fields. And here it's used in the bookmarks as well. So, and it also used in this DAX, like where is measures. So it's used in these measures. So this particular section will tell you like clearly the usage of a particular column and measure. And you can even export the usage details as well into a CSV or an Excel too. Okay. So similarly for other columns, as you see, this is ID as one. So you can click on it and that shows up like where it's being used. This is used in the relationships. Similarly, if something is not used, you will see this red exclamatory symbol next to it, an icon. So you can identify that, okay, uh, that's not being used anywhere. There is no usage found. This is prone to, you can delete this particular column if as it not being used anywhere. Similarly, this helps you to identify all of these columns, and you can even start from fresh also. For example, I want to find out that particular column, like I can just start searching it out there, and I can select a particular column and it will show you that column usage as well. You don't need to start from the model explorer. You can even start from the search bar on the top too. So this would be quite helpful to understand the usage before we start deleting anything in the model or cleaning up understanding what's being used, what's not being used in the report. So this is the phase one, and the phase two of the tool, like we wanted to add the service connectivity also. Then you can even see right now it is only looking at the local report. But in the phase two of the tool, we wanted to add it like even the thin reports as well. For example, in this model, you're checking only within the report, but if it's being used any of the connected thin reports in the service, in Power BI service, in other workspaces also, it's gonna scan everything and it's gonna give you the details as well. So we are gonna add that tenant level scanning as well in the next phases. So that is coming. So this is about the find usage section. It helps to identify the usage of the column and measures. And now let's move on to compare. So you can compare two different files. Right now, if I give you two Power BI reports, it's very hard to know what's being changed. Right, so it's though it look like same, but there are some changes happen. It's very difficult to know what's being changed. And with Powerops, it's very straightforward to understand what's being changed. Let me add another file. I'm just adding some version 2 file. So when I added it, so I can select between the two versions. So I'm just saying that version 1 here in advanced sales, I'm choosing the version 2. I wanna compare between both of them. So I click on compare. It's gonna give a pretty good like the view of what's being changed. For example, in report section, you have the yellow one signifies the modifications, red one for deletions, and green one for the additions. So there are two things that got modified and two things got removed and six things got added. So you can click on this and you can see what's being changed as well. So for example, in this page, there is only the canvas background color got changed. And similarly, this has got removed. You can click on and see what's the page details that's got removed. And it's just not pages. You can see the visuals as well. Click on it and you can see what's the change happen. There was a sort by that was introduced in ascending order, which wasn't there in the first version. Right, and you can even see the visual view as well in comparison. You can see it will highlight what's being changed. You can see what's being changed here as well in the visual wireframe view. If we go back to table view, so you can see like in other pages also what changes was done. You can even click on this explore and you can see exact thing that got changed between both of the files in terms of the properties too. Right, so similarly custom visuals, and in the source one we are not using any custom visuals, but in the destination we have a lot many custom visuals that's being used here. We have filters, we have sync slicers. Similarly in the model as well, so you can see what's being changed and the columns what's being changed and other things. It's even interesting to see it in the model view. If I click on the model view in the compare, it will clearly highlight what's if the table is unchanged, you can see it in the white background fully, but if it's being changed, you can see it in this yellow. So you can even click on the table and see what's being changed. There is a new measure is being added, or click on it and you can see that what's being changed in the column level as well. Here the data type has got changed. You click on the sales amount, or if you can see that there's a new measure got added called sales amount as well. You can see the measure properties and the expression as well. So it clearly shows you, even if in this case, there is a table that got deleted. So that's why it is marked in red color, as you see. So you can even click on it and you can see the table got the deleted table details, and it even shows the link in red color because it's got deleted as well. You can even click on this and you can see what's being changed. So what's the relationship that got deleted? Similarly, if something got removed in there, you will see that in the marked in red color. So you can click on it and you can see the column details as well. So quite helpful that way to understand it. And coming back to table view, so you can even see hierarchies, what's being changed. You can even, whenever you wanted to see what's exact change, you can just click on the center button and the status. So that gives you the drill down view of what's been changed. Relationship is what's changed, and even including the DAX. For example, in this particular measure, so if you click on it, you can see what exactly got changed in the DAX expression also. In the source, it just says sum of sales amount, but here, this is how the expression got modified. Right, and imagine like some of your developers in the team, so who is making changes, and you need to review what is the changes they have made before that is moved to production. So you can be more confident now that you were able to review what's exactly being changed than realizing that in prod it's accidentally something moved which users are facing an issue with. So this will help that way to understand like what exactly the changes happen. So it covers in all the report, model, DAX in every section, ideally. As you can see, the calculate column, something has changed. Even in mQueries, it does not say there is something changed in mQuery. You can even click on this modified and click on this explore more. So you can see the exact line numbers that got changed in mQueries as well, which is quite useful that way to understand the change. And we also have info section to show what's been changed. So by default, it shows only the differences between both of them. But if you can uncheck this particular item, so it shows up the no change items as well everywhere. Right, but as soon as you check this, it only show you the differences. What is it like got changed between both of them? So this is very helpful that way to understand and peer review your team's work and then confidently publishing something into production. So any questions on the compare?
No, I think it's quite straightforward and visually very, very simple to get and understand what the changes are done. Very useful, I have to say.
Yeah, cool.
I already think of many use cases that would have solved problems already, but yeah, nice.
All right, sounds good. And now the next one is the best practices. So the best practice is the section which helps you to identify what are the rules has been passed for your report, what is failed. For example, there are 73 rules that are set by Microsoft, and out of the 73 rules, how many rules were passed and how many has failed? If you go into the report section or performance, and these are all different sections. So as you see, the error prevention and naming convention, all the rules has been passed. That's why it's marked in green. As you see in yellow, there are certain rules has been failed and certain rules has been passed. I can click on this and I can see the which rules has been passed on the right, which rules has been failed on the left. Right. So for example, these are 10 rules that has been failed. On the top right, you can see the particular severity as well for the rules. There is a high priority rule and medium priority rules as well. So for example, you can even expand it and you can see what's being changed, like what is the rule on which ones are failed that rule also, how many objects are failed that rule as well. And you can go ahead and fix it. And the certain, you can, if you, let's say if you in your organization, you don't worry about the low and medium priority rules, you can just uncheck it out. Then it'll only show you the high priority ones that this needs to be fixed. Right, these are the high priority ones that are the rules. Similarly, we also offer for certain rules with this, you see this particular gear icon. So I click on this and it shows you the fix script also, how you can fix it. And you can even click on the apply fix right from here and it will apply the fix right from the tool. It'll write back to the Power BI report. Right, and in the overview, coming back to the overview, similarly, you can see it in the formatting, and there are the rules that has been failed, which was a low priority and medium priority and high priority rules as well. And you can even edit the rules as well right from here. So you can, these are all the rules that are coming from the Microsoft front, but you can uncheck some of the rules that you think that doesn't apply to you, or you can even click on this pencil symbol and edit a rule as well, the rule definition as well. And you can even copy the rule, duplicate a rule, or delete a specific rule, or you can even completely add a new rule as well, all by yourself, selecting the severity and formatting and other things too. You can reset it. If you make a changes and you want to go back to the default state, you can always reset the report and model level rules. So another thing is like you can even download all these rules as well if you want to download the report rules and model rules. And there is a setting icon here, as you see. This will tell you like where the rules are coming from. So you can see that there is a Powerops, the default that is by default, and you can even always point it to Microsoft best practice rules as well. So you can see the different BPA rules.json that is coming from Microsoft side, and you can see that as well. And you can see you can even add your own custom URL or a JSON file as well if you're using any custom rules. So you can even apply to all files or only to current file also. Certain specific best practice rules you can apply to those. It's very flexible that way. And this is quite helpful to understand and self audit your reports. Like all the developers can review their reports and model instantly. As soon as they upload, they can see that what are the rules been failed or what's been passed. So this help you to build the better reports in terms of performance and all other standards. So it's just not on the model rules, you also have report rules as well. So you can see the report level rules, which has been passed, which has been failed, and etc. So these are all the best practices side. And we have other like a dark mode as well on the tool. This is so you can see all the dark mode. If somebody is more interested or would like to work with dark mode, so they have the dark mode on the tool as well. So everything that you see so far is also presented in the dark mode too. So, and yeah, so that's the pretty much about the desktop tool. All other things are more or less like the settings and a few other things. But the desktop tool is having on high level, just to give a quick recap. So it has an analyze section, which gives all documentation and also dependencies and other things. So find usage tells you like all the usage finding of your measures and columns, and compare gives you all the changes between the files, and best practices tells you like all the best practices being followed. So this is all about the Powerops desktop tool. Currently, we're offering a wait list. So the persons like who are looking for this free tool, so they can just join the wait list on our website, which is powerops.app. So sooner or later, so we will be sending the bill to them. So according to the waitlist priority, and they can install and try it out. As I said, like this has a free tier, which they can continue to use it for free with a limit of 2 files. So let me go back to my PowerPoint slide, and let's talk about quickly about SaaS version as well. What we have seen so far is the desktop version, but in SaaS version that it has a lot more to offer. So there is an inbuilt version control also. So it comes with integration with GitHub and Azure DevOps as well. It also does the version control, version history, pull request, and automated deployments as well. So it covers an end-to-end for enterprise especially. So if you are working in enterprise Power BI environment, if you would like to have a streamlined, governed development workflow, ensuring all the data quality checks and also the best practices and everything in your workflow. So this is the tool that you should offer, where it can cover an end-to-end, right from the analyzing to the automated deployments. It has everything. So this is the key differences between both the tools. So the Power BI Powerops Desktop gives the analyze, compare best practices, whereas the SaaS version gives you a lot more version history, rollbacking, and automated deployments and version control integration as well. So I'll just give a quick demo about the SaaS version too. So if you go to our website, and there is a try for free, and you can click on the SaaS version, also try for free. So if you're already registered, then I already completed the registration process. So I just click on sign in. When you're signing in, you have two options. Either you can choose the Azure DevOps on GitHub. It will work seamlessly for both, but I'm just using the Azure DevOps at this point. So if you click on that, it locks me, it automatically takes my SSO and it locks me in. And once I logged in, it's gonna read all the DevOps workspaces I already have repos. But eventually, as a new user, you're gonna start with this page where you create a new repo, right? So let's say if you wanna create, let's give today's date. So let's say 04/16 and 2024. And this is a workspace name, so I can create a workspace name and I can add a file as well. I can choose to add a file like a full report or thin report or dataset. We only support the PBIP because it goes with the version control. In the desktop of Powerops, we support all the PBIX and other things as well. But in the SaaS version, it is only the PBIP as recommended version control format, as it only has the metadata with no real data. So I can upload a PBIP folder right from here. Just upload something here. So just uploading this folder, and this is the PBIP folder for the adventure sales file. Click on create. It takes a moment. And once it's loaded, as you can see that it shows the same details that we have it in the desktop version as well. All the details are same, so you can even compare. But here the advantage, like since now you are in the version control system, so you can even compare between the one branch to another branch files as well. I'll even show you what it does. So if you go to dev.azure.com, the Azure DevOps, whatever you uploaded now through our SaaS version of PowerOps, it automatically creates the repo right here as well. So let's search for today's date, 16/2024. Yeah, so this is the file that just got created, right? It's created from my end, and it is all committed by PowerOps. So whatever it gives a zero touch version control. You really don't need to do anything to learn version controlling. It will immediately, like all you need to do is just upload the things and follow the workflow. It automatically takes care of the version controlling and deployments that you need to do. So whatever you created from here as well, you can even go to Power BI, app.powerbi, and you can do a Git integration as well right from there. So let's say if I go to app.powerbi.com, and I can create a new workspace altogether. Sales 04/16/2024, for example. I'm creating this new workspace, and you can even in the workspace settings in the Git integration, I can even load it from the one that I created just now, 04/16. So there's just now what we created here. So the same thing, I can even add it here in the main branch and connect and sync. So that goes through your workspace automatically, right? So it will automatically sync, as you can see that adventure cells coming in. So another advantage is like it's easy to create branches as well. So let's say you can add any number of files to this main branch, or if you want to add more, like you want to create a new branch, like let's say dev branch, you can even create that, and that's get added to also. It created a new dev branch as well. So now you have two branches, and you can even add a new file as well into the dev branch. Earlier we added version 1, now let's add version 2 full. And once I added that, I can create it. So whatever we do, it's gonna be reflected in the version source control system as well. So here I can see that there is a version 2 and version 1, both are they exist. And now I can, in dev, you only have version 2 file, but in main branch, it's just version 1 that we have added. Yeah. So let's go to compare, and I can compare the dev version 2 with main branch version 1 as well, and click on compare. And that does the comparison between both the files and shows the results, what's being changed between both of them. it's pretty cool that way to understand like what are the things that are being changed between the versions too. And you can even see the best practices as the way you have seen in desktop too. And you can see all the things here, and you can also see the version history as well. For example, I just had like one version that I just uploaded, but if you have imagine like you have all the other versions, like you are keep updating the commits, like all the new commits are gonna come up, and you can even like click on it and you can download it, or you can even restore it also. For example, if you had any like a bad deployment, or you want to roll back to the previous versions, it's very easy to roll back it from PowerUp. So you can just, all you need to just click on that the particular commit that you want to go back, and just click on restore. It restores to the newer commit. So it's that easy. So that covers the PowerOps SaaS, and the data security inside, like the desktop tool is lives within your network. It doesn't need an internet connection, so there is no question of like transferring the data or any problem with the security of the data. Even on the SaaS version, the cloud version, we don't store any data. Even the data, as you have seen, even including the metadata, gets stored in your own source control system in Azure DevOps. So the role of Powerops is more like an intermediate layer, enhancing your experience and adding all this best practice and automation. But we don't store or transmit any sort of data. So that's on the data security side. And coming to the roadmap, so Powerops desktops in Q1 we released this tool, and in Q2 we are also planning to add the service integration, GitHub, and Azure DevOps and more. And in the SaaS version, we have a roadmap of like pull request and automated deployments, no code pipelines, and more as well. So these are all the things that are coming in that I can even do like running the data quality test and automated deployments also right from the power of SaaS. So I just tried to go quick with the amount of time, but yeah, so for the desktop, please join the waitlist, and you will be receive an email as soon as we have the product ready. And SaaS, you can try free even today, but you need to get a version control like an Azure DevOps or GitHub to use it. So that's the mostly from my end, and I'm ready to take any questions that you guys have.
Really cool, really cool. I mean, I'm really amazed. Thanks, Vijay. Definitely, I will join the waiting list, but I will give also a try to the SaaS. Question from my side, I guess, in terms of workspace capacities, do we have something to consider?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
In terms of workspace capacity for the SaaS version, are there any considerations to keep in mind? Or I mean, it's
no,
compatible
so we
with
can. It is pretty much like scalable. So as long as like you can create the workspaces and other things, so it just skeleton files. There is really not that much of capacity hit it's gonna be. So there are no considerations. So we can scale as needed.
Great. And maybe you can like briefly walk us through for the SaaS version on the pricing.
Yeah, so the SaaS version, it is also has a free tier, which is the 5 file limit. But very like an individuals or a very small organizations, if they wanted to have like below 5 reports or models that they have, so they can use SaaS for free. But if somebody want to use the SaaS version just for the rest of the features, then it would be $60 for a full enterprise version. Right now, at this stage, we are giving it for $40 because we are yet to complete the deploy and other features. But eventually, once we have the full cycle done, it's gonna be $60 per developer per month. It's gonna be. They can use it in any number of like workspaces. There is no limits on workspaces. There is no limits on tenants as well. As if you're using 2 different clients, or so you can use it for like one license can serve you with any number of tenants too. So all you're paying is just for the all the functionalities, and no limits on the any of the usage.
Yeah, thank you. No, I mean, very, very decent pricing for what you offer. Great, thank you.